Revenge films.
My name is Nathan. I'm a 40-year-old office worker living with my middle school-aged son, Kyle. Now I'm living peacefully as a single father, getting along well with my son. But the truth is, I only started living with him 2 years ago. Before that, I had never even met him once. The reason? My wife said she was going home to give birth and then went missing for 13 years. I married my wife when I was 25, and 2 years later we found out she was pregnant. I loved kids and had been hoping for a pregnancy. I was eagerly looking forward to the birth of a healthy child. When she was 6 months pregnant, my wife suddenly said,
"I want to go home and give birth at my parents' place."
I wanted to get used to raising a child quickly, so I really wanted her to give birth here by my side, not away at her parents' house. But she insisted, so I reluctantly agreed. I figured she was anxious about raising a child for the first time, and it would be reassuring to have her mother beside her. So I bowed my head to my in-laws and asked them to take care of her. My wife often felt unwell, so she said she wanted to go home early. As soon as she reached 7 months, she went back to her parents' house. That's when I started noticing something was off. After going home, she stopped contacting me completely. Even when I called or messaged her, she was cold and distant, and I began to feel suspicious. When I said I'd come visit during the holidays, she turned me down, claiming she wasn't feeling well. When I casually asked my mother-in-law what my wife's daily life was like, she said she was out hanging around with local friends and was hardly ever home. She told me she wasn't feeling well, but was she really going out having fun? Something was definitely wrong. I thought that, but I told myself there's no way she'd cheat while being pregnant, so I decided to wait for the baby to be born. Soon after she reached full term, I suddenly got a call from my mother-in-law.
"Did my daughter and grandson come back to your place?"
She sounded really panicked. Being confused, I said, "Huh? She hasn't even given birth yet, so why would they come back?" But it turned out she had already given birth 3 days earlier. It seemed that my wife gave birth without even contacting me and then disappeared from the hospital without permission. Since she might have been involved in some kind of incident, I immediately filed a missing person report. I searched everywhere for her, but I couldn't find her, and time just kept passing. 1 year after she disappeared, I finally stopped searching for her. Looking back, she had been acting suspiciously after going home. I figured she probably left of her own will. As I couldn't even meet the child I'd been so excited about, I continued living with a wounded heart. Of course, I couldn't even remarry since I still wasn't divorced. Part of me kept thinking she might come back someday, and I continued my lonely life. But a turning point came 13 years later. I suddenly got a call at work from a boy claiming to be my son. He said he wanted to meet and talk. I was skeptical about this sudden call, but if it was true, I couldn't resist meeting him. So we agreed to meet at a family restaurant. When I got there, I saw a boy in dirty clothes, skinny as a rail. When I called out to him, it turned out he was the one who had called me. The moment he saw my face, he started crying. "Can you please take me in?" He said it out of the blue. When I heard the full story, he really was my son. He had grown up suffering due to neglect from his parents. As he grew older, he felt something was wrong about how his father treated him. The man's attitude toward him kept getting worse and worse. Also, he noticed they looked nothing alike. One day, while enduring hunger and wanting desperately to escape from that house, he happened to find his mother's old notebook. It contained a diary written up until he was born, and my business card was tucked inside. Using only that clue as his guide, he took money from the house and he took a 3-hour train ride to get here. After telling me all this, he handed me the notebook. When I checked the diary entries, a shocking truth was revealed. My wife had been having an affair even before she got pregnant. The other man was a middle school classmate who lived in her hometown. After reuniting at a class reunion, they'd been in a long-distance relationship. When she got pregnant, he told her, "Just divorce your husband and let's raise the baby together." Apparently, that's when she came up with the idea to disappear. While she was home, she was meeting with her lover every day, and she was steadily preparing to disappear. She gave birth without telling me and successfully vanished. After that, the diary was full of entries about her free and easy life with her lover. Learning the truth about her disappearance, I was so furious I thought I'd go insane. My son felt the same way. In desperation, he called the company on my business card. Years of neglect had taken a heavy toll on him. He needed to be protected immediately. But since custody was with my wife, I couldn't just take him without saying anything. I told him to call his mother first, so he made the call. When he told her he wouldn't be coming back for a while, she sounded completely uninterested.
Oh, whatever.
That's all she said before hanging up. Wasn't she worried about her own son? The thought made me deeply sad. After that, I waited for my son to recover and requested a DNA test just to be sure. The results confirmed he was definitely my child. I consulted with Child Protective Services and got a lawyer ready. Most importantly, I fed my son proper meals. Once everything was in place, I went to my wife's house with him. Her place was a room in an old apartment building. Outside, trash bags stuffed with beer cans were piled up. When I rang the doorbell, a bleach blonde woman reeking of cigarettes came out. It was my wife, but completely unrecognizable. The moment she saw my son, she said,
You're back already?
She furrowed her brow. I said, Long time no see. And she stared at my face for a moment, then looked shocked.
You? Why are you here?
I explained everything and told her I was taking custody. She casually said,
Fine, take him if you want.
Just like that, in one sentence. Right then, Child Protective Services and the police arrived as I'd arranged. They said they wanted to ask some questions and took her in. My son and I also went to the police station and told them everything about the neglect. We also told them about how she and her lover would get violent and hurt him. My wife and her lover denied the charges, but bruises were still visible on my son's body, so they were both arrested. Later, both of them were sent to prison, and I successfully got divorced. I got custody, so I officially took in my son. My wife and her lover's crimes made the news on TV and became a huge story. They became famous as criminals. Thanks to that, they couldn't get decent jobs after getting out. They fell into drinking and gambling and ended up drowning in debt. After disappearing, my wife and her lover had apparently gotten hooked on gambling and abandoned my son. After getting out of prison, they started living together again. They ruined their health with alcohol but couldn't afford to see a doctor. Their lives are apparently miserable. As for me, I started living with my son. At first there was some awkwardness, but blood ties are a mysterious thing. We bonded right away. My son gradually gained weight and his personality became much brighter. He goes to counseling regularly. I'm relieved to hear he's recovering well. 6 months after moving in together, he had recovered enough to attend middle school. Now he's made lots of friends and joined the table tennis club. He lives a healthy life every day. Since I get to watch his table tennis matches now, my life has more structure than before. From my wife's disappearance until my son suddenly appeared, I went through unbearable hardship. But now, living happily like this feels like a miracle. I want to shower him with all the love he missed during those 13 years we were apart. So from now on, I'll only think about my son's happiness. I swore to myself to cherish our life together.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.